concentrations in excess of legal limits were detected. However, for localized Mizuna, apart from localized Mizuna, a kakina shipment has been restricted. In Kumamoto Prefecture, spinach and kakina, high concentrations were detected, and also shipment curfew has been imposed. In Tochigi Prefecture, spinach, high concentrations were detected, and also in kakina as well, and therefore shipment restrictions have been applied. In Chiba Prefecture, for Shungiku chrysanthemum, edible chrysanthemums, high dosages were detected. However, as it is very localized in distribution, the shipment has not been restricted. And also in Tokyo, in research facility Komotsuna, there are high levels of cesium that were detected.
We're joined by Dr. Shigenobu Nagataki, who is an expert in radiological medicine. Dr. Nagataki has the experience of treating Chernobyl victims in the afflicted area. For both vegetables and water, they're finding amounts of radioactive substances which exceed safety limits, and people are very worried. So what do we need to keep in mind? Well, indicators and standards. And people are saying that it's okay because it is below safety limits or safety standards or above standards, but that does not really help people feel safe. We're currently just talking about radioactive iodine, but let me talk about standards a bit. We discovered that radioactive iodine can cause thyroid cancer in children. We found that out through Chernobyl. And what are the effects of the next few years after contamination? And when this amount of radioactive material threatens to go into the thyroid, we decided that we needed to set standards. So it is in the aftermath of Chernobyl that these standards were set. So these standards are very rigid, rigorous, and conservative. The standards are set far on the safe side. And as for what can cause thyroid cancer, first of all, the standard of 100 becquerels for babies, if the radiation levels exceeds this amount, what happens in babies? In Chernobyl, in the worst cases, people who drank water without any restrictions, the incidence of thyroid cancer was maybe 10,000, one case for every 10,000, as opposed to one case for every 100,000 in a normal situation. So right now in Japan, the incidence is 3,000, 1 in 3,000 or 1 in 5,000. So even if that happens, it will not be much worse. So we don't have to worry excessively. That's exactly so. And the standards are set so that thyroid cancer and such health effects do not occur. And the standard is set on the assumption that the baby continues drinking this water for 1 year continuously. So you have to understand that these are very rigorous standards. But for parents who have babies, it's natural that they feel afraid. So we have summarized some of the questions that they may have. First of all, just to confirm, the radiation level has exceeded 100 becquerels, and for babies to drink this, so as I said, if they can avoid drinking it, it's better that they avoid drinking it. That's about all that's necessary. Of course, so if you had a choice, it's safer if you don't drink it. And how about for baby food? Same for baby food. And boiling the water, can you eliminate radioactive materials? There is a chance that that may reduce the radioactive iodine. Well, iodine, you find that in kelp, kombu kelp. But no matter how much you boil kelp, it doesn't reduce the iodine. So you shouldn't think that boiling makes much difference. And if the mother drinks tap water, will that affect the breast milk she produces? People may worry about that. But even if the mother drinks water that exceeds safety levels, the amount that would come out in her breast milk is very small, so you don't have to worry about breast milk. And how about pregnant women? The baby in her stomach, the fetus, is younger than babies. So if you want to be cautious, if you can, it is a good idea to restrict water ingestion by the pregnant woman. How about bathing, toothbrushing, and gargling? No effect? Yes, almost no effect. But what you must keep in mind is that radioactive substances cannot be absorbed through skin, but it can be absorbed through membranes. So toothbrushing or gargling, whatever you put in your mouth, if it is possible, you should avoid that. But you don't have to go out of your way to avoid this, like go and buy bottled water, mineral water for toothbrushing. So attention needs to be paid for babies under 12 months. How about young children, toddlers, or elementary or junior high school children? What would be the impact? To be very precise, I said that the thyroid cancer cases were found in Chernobyl. In Chernobyl, the children that we monitored were up to 14 years old. Anyone above 14 we classified with adults. So elementary school and 5-year-olds, we found the highest incidences of thyroid cancer among children under elementary school or under and age of 5. So we really don't know what the needs are for children older than elementary school. But junior high school students, they're much closer to grown-ups compared to children under 5, so there is not much need to worry. And for grown-ups, there is absolutely no need to worry. I've been saying, for grown-ups, you can do things as normal and there'll be no effect. In the atomic bomb also, there was no effect no impact on adults over age 40. So even in the current water situation, there is no need to panic. And right now, even if you go around the shops, all the bottled water is gone from the shelves. That's what we've been hearing. Yes, so it's ridiculous to buy up and hoard bottled water for grown-ups. And if households with small babies cannot find mineral water, what should they do? Well, when the standards were first set, that scenario was taken into consideration. And just because you cannot obtain water, you should not stop giving the baby water. That would be more harmful than restricting the intake of water with iodine. You mean that babies will be more badly affected by being deprived of water? That's right. Yes, as I said, the chances of developing cancer is 1 in 10,000. So if you stop giving the baby water because you're afraid of that, that is ridiculous. And for vegetables and raw milk, how should we approach this? And as you've been saying, and the government has been inspecting and monitoring the radiation levels. So from the consumer's point of view, they're only going to be getting safe products. And these government standards are all based on the assumption that you continue eating or drinking this for 1 year. So as long as the government is continuing radiation levels, consumers need not worry at all. They can continue eating their food feeling secure. Once again, the safety standard is based on the assumption that one continuously eats the food for 1 year, and the shipments have already stopped. So whatever you have eaten, maximum it's over the past 10 days. So in that sense, you can believe and you can be convinced that this is safe. So the situation over water, vegetables, and raw milk, the outlook really depends on the nuclear power plant situation, doesn't it? If the emissions or releases from the nuclear power plant stops, it will get better. For iodine-131, the half-life is 8 days. So once the releases stop from the nuclear power plant, you don't have to worry anymore. But even if the releases do continue for, let's say, 1 month, and if you keep on drinking or eating whatever it is, that is 1 month out of the 1 year period that has been assumed. So I highly recommend people to stop worrying and panicking, particularly for grown-ups. Whatever they eat, they'll be okay. So all you have to worry about is protecting your children if need be. Thank you very much, Doctor.